Flight 9 is ready for liftoff, but what's left before the final countdown? At the Starbase launch pad, all hardware for SpaceX's massive Starship Flight 9 has been fully assembled, a critical milestone before this giant rocket leaves the ground. But hold on, think the prep work is done? Not quite. A high-pressure series of final steps is still underway behind the scenes. Meanwhile, the Dragon CRS-32 spacecraft has safely returned to Earth carrying scientific breakthroughs that could redefine the future of space travel. And here's the shocker: China and Russia are teaming up to build the first-ever power plant on the moon. Sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi movie, right? Have you ever imagined witnessing a brand-new space race unfold in the 21st century? No astronauts, no Earth-based control centers, just a nuclear power plant rising in the middle of the lunar surface. You're watching Space Now, your source for the boldest moves in the new space frontier. The countdown has begun, and all eyes are on Flight 9. We're just hours away from one of the most anticipated moments yet, the launch of Flight 9. Road closures were scheduled from May 24th to May 26th, and once the clock hits zero, it's go time. Booster 14, which made an early and surprising rollout last week, has completed its final checks and adjustments at Mega Bay 1. At noon on May 24th, the massive bay doors opened and B-14 was carefully rolled out. What shook the aerospace community was a key technical update. The hot staging ring had been realigned, an unmistakable sign that recent issues have been resolved. During the same road closure window, the booster was swiftly transported to the launch pad, where the chopstick arms were already raised and the quick disconnect arm had been aligned. Did you know the hot staging system used to ignite the upper stage while the lower stage is still burning is a game-changing technology being pursued aggressively by space giants like SpaceX. It increases fuel efficiency and thrust effectiveness, key for deep space missions. And now, the spotlight shifts. S-35 takes center stage. After completing its spin prime test at the Massey test site, the S-35 upper stage returned to Mega Bay 2 for final preparations. On the night of May 23rd and early morning of May 24th, the PZ door opened, and later that afternoon, mock Starlink payloads known as dumb links were loaded into the payload bay. By the morning of May 25th, the payload door was sealed, confirming that the cargo section was mission-ready. No doubt about it, this was the final step in assembling the Flight 9 duo. By the afternoon of May 25th, S-35 was transported to the launch pad, and that evening was stacked atop B-14, completing the Starship Flight 9 stack, one of the largest orbital launch systems ever built. Now imagine this. What if one day these dumb links are replaced by next-gen Starlink satellites, fully autonomous, AI-linked, and operating in coordinated swarms in low Earth orbit? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear what you think. Right after the stacking was completed, SpaceX entered a brief pause. All operations at Starbase were temporarily halted, with activity expected to resume on the morning of May 27th, in preparation for a possible launch that same afternoon. The current target, 6:30 p.m. Central Time, May 27. But don't worry, road closures are in effect through May 29th, giving SpaceX a flexible window in case of any technical setbacks. Still, one critical question remains: will SpaceX conduct a wet dress rehearsal, WDR? This is a full propellant loading test considered essential after the issues with Flight 8, which skipped the WDR and ended in a failed launch attempt, the first major setback in the program. When SpaceX launches Flight 9, they're not just sending a rocket into the sky, they're pushing the boundaries of what humanity has ever achieved. Think you've seen it all from previous launches. Think again. This isn't just a routine mission. This is Starship's next giant leap, and Space Now is taking you right into the eye of the storm. This isn't just technical prep, it's a high-stakes gamble on the mission's survival. The morning of May 27th offers a golden window to perform the WDR. Yes, it demands more effort and mobilizes hundreds of engineers. But in return, SpaceX could spot a flaw before it's too late. A WDR may seem like a small step on Earth, but it's a massive jump toward the stars. With all hardware now on deck, the community is hoping SpaceX chooses the cautious route, and so should you. Imagine this. A successful launch wouldn't just be an engineering feat. It would be a symbol of hope for millions who believe in a future among the stars. Are you holding your breath for Flight 9? Then don't forget to like and subscribe to Space Now so you never miss an update on Starship's journey to conquer the cosmos. And keep your eyes locked on Starbase, because what's coming next might be even bigger than the launch itself. Here's something you really don't want to miss: Mars 2026, a conversation that could shape the entire decade. Just before Flight 9 lifts off, a special event called Mars 2026 Company Talk is set to take place. According to multiple sources, the session will last between 1 to 2 hours and will be hosted at the Starbase production facility on the morning or early afternoon of May 27th. And the name says it all: SpaceX is no longer hiding its ambition to reach Mars. Elon Musk is expected to return to the spotlight after a stretch focused on political and strategic matters. Could 2026 really be the year humans set foot on Mars? The future isn't far away. It's being built right now, and you're a part of it. This isn't just about Flight 9, it's the opening chapter in a whole new era, where massive boosters and daring missions are only the foundation. One day your children or your grandchildren might live, work, and even fall in love on the red planet. If you believe in that vision, stay with us. Together, we're building that future starting today. And remember, it's not just about Mars. SpaceX still has a few aces up its sleeve. Beyond the vision of sending humans to Mars, Elon Musk may use the upcoming Mars 2026 Company Talk to unveil several high-stakes strategic projects, from the imminent Flight 9 mission and the company's 2025 roadmap to entirely new rocket systems and confidential internal ventures currently under wraps. This isn't just a routine update, it could be a historic turning point, a moment that reignites SpaceX's internal drive for innovation and redefines the company's long-term vision. What if just moments before Flight 9 lifts off, a brand new rocket line is announced? Drop your predictions in the comments, and Space Now will explore the possibilities with you. A symbol fades and a new era begins. While all eyes are fixed on the launch pad, another major milestone has quietly unfolded at the production site: the dismantling of the iconic H-High Bay, once the beating heart of Starbase engineering. On May 24th, the final structural elements of H-High Bay were officially removed, marking the end of a historic chapter. The remaining materials are now being cleared to make way for Gigabay, a massive new facility designed to meet the surging production demands of Starship. Construction is expected to take about 6 months, with completion targeted for late 2025 or early 2026. Once operational, Gigabay will become the main hub for assembling and integrating the next-generation Starships, especially the V3 models featuring breakthrough technologies. Do you think this shift will allow SpaceX to manufacture Starships like they do cars? Is the era of mass production for spaceflight just around the corner? Farewell, H-High Bay, the unsung hero of early Starship development. We can't talk about Starship without acknowledging the pivotal role of H-High Bay. It was where the first prototypes were stacked, repaired, and rigorously tested. But with tech advancing rapidly and production volumes skyrocketing, especially with the upcoming Starship V3H high bay, could no longer keep up. The transition to Gigabay signals something bigger. SpaceX is entering an era of large-scale industrial production. Right now, the first Super Heavy booster V3 has already been assembled inside Megabay 1, while Ship 39, the first Starship V3, is nearly ready for stacking at Megabay 2. These aren't just isolated experiments anymore. This is a space assembly line in action. One Starship ready for liftoff, dozens more lining up behind it. Even as Flight 9 nears its launch window, preparations for upcoming missions are in full swing. Road closures have been announced for May 28th, from midnight to 4:00 a.m. to allow component transfers from the factory to the Massey test site. This transport likely involves Ship 37, the newest prototype, which is expected to pair with Booster 17 for the upcoming Flight 11. Notably, B-17 has already completed its cryogenic testing phase, a critical step for systems that handle supercooled liquid methane fuel. It is currently being stored at the Rocket Garden, the place where massive rockets are nurtured before stepping into history. Can you clearly see SpaceX's rotating production model? It's no different from a high-speed military assembly line, where every prototype serves a specific mission. Dragon CRS-32, a quiet mission but extremely important. While the public is focused on Flight 9, a quiet yet monumental success has just been marked. Dragon CRS-32 has returned safely after its resupply mission to the ISS. After separating from the International Space Station on May 23rd, the Dragon spacecraft remained in orbit for another day before re-entering the atmosphere. At 1:46 a.m. Eastern Time, or 10:46 p.m. Pacific Time, it made a perfect splashdown in the waters off Southern California. All key phases, from deorbit burn trunk separation to parachute deployment, unfolded as smoothly as if written in a textbook. But the highlight this time is the new recovery technology SpaceX chose to land in the Pacific Ocean. The first time since the Fram-Tune-Mafi Fultral 2 mission. Why? To minimize the risk of collision with space debris, especially during the trunk jettisoning phase. Do you think the future of space safety will depend on such precisely calculated landing zones? This isn't just engineering, it's survival strategy. A quiet but bold step forward by SpaceX, chasing clouds, catching wind, and controlling everything from inside the factory. Unlike previous missions, this time, SpaceX made a strategic move that few noticed but is extremely important. They recovered the spacecraft using internally developed drogue parachutes. This is the first time in history that a Dragon spacecraft on a CRS mission was equipped with a drogue parachute system researched, developed, and deployed entirely by SpaceX. What's special is that these parachutes are not just good enough. They are fully upgraded versions. More secure connections, redesigned braided straps to reduce twisting, an improved parachute pack that allows for faster and more even deployment during freefall at hypersonic speeds. These seemingly small adjustments are critical to the final stages of atmospheric re-entry. Have you ever thought that a small parachute could determine the success or failure of a mission worth hundreds of millions of dollars? And more importantly, it helps SpaceX take full control of the mission's end-to-end supply chain. With the successful return of CRS-32, SpaceX once again reinforces its leading position in orbital logistics. This is the 32nd resupply mission to the International Space Station and also the 49th flight under the Dragon program, including both crewed and uncrewed variants. This number isn't just impressive in terms of statistics. It reflects the durability, flexibility, and adaptability of the Dragon spacecraft line. Each Dragon mission is not just a resupply trip. It's also a test bed for new technology, a building block for the future of commercial spaceflight. With innovations like in-house parachutes, SpaceX is gradually creating a more self-sufficient ecosystem, meaning less reliance on external partners, faster deployment timelines, and reduced risks for every launch. Do you think one day SpaceX will manufacture 100% of all flight hardware in a single factory, from rockets and spacecraft to support equipment? They're closer than ever before, not just flying, but shaping the future Dragon Gigabay and the Mars game. SpaceX is building a big-picture strategy with three main pillars: Dragon as the backbone of logistics, Gigabay as the mass-production space factory, and Flight 9, the turning point that launches the Starship V3 era, as the spearhead that shapes what's next. All of these are moving forward in unison to realize Elon Musk's ultimate dream, putting humans on Mars. Improvements like in-house parachutes, which might seem like secondary details, are actually essential parts of the operational optimization chain. When equipment can return safely, be quickly reused, and be manufactured internally, costs drop, efficiency rises, and mission repeatability reaches industrial scale. Here's a question for you. If launching a Starship becomes as routine as building a Tesla, is the vision of a Martian base by 2040 still science fiction? Or is it starting to look like reality? While SpaceX speeds up an Eastern rival, quietly aims for the Moon with a nuclear reactor. Let's leave Starbase for a moment and look across the globe. China and Russia have just signed a memorandum of cooperation to build a nuclear power plant on the Moon. This isn't science fiction. It's a strategic blueprint for the International Lunar Research Station, a project co-led by the two nations. According to the agreement, the reactor is set to be completed by 2036. And even more astounding, the entire construction process will be fully automated with no human presence on site. The goal is to power long-term operations on the Moon's surface, from laboratories to resource extraction systems. Surprised? While NASA has proposed cutting its lunar orbital station budget for 2026, Beijing and Moscow are accelerating toward establishing an extraterrestrial energy stronghold. Who's leading the 21st century space race? A quiet but high-stakes competition is unfolding, where the Moon is becoming the world's new chessboard. The contrast couldn't be more stark. The West tightens budgets and delays projects. The East expands partnerships and invests in off-Earth energy infrastructure. And unlike temporary space stations, a nuclear reactor on the Moon, if successfully built, would set an unprecedented precedent: long-term infrastructure ownership on an extraterrestrial body. What would you think if one day humanity's global energy map included a high-capacity zone right in the Moon's dark side? This is no longer some distant future. It's a step-by-step strategy already in motion. The lunar frontline, as Russia and China prepare to flip the space game with automated construction technology. In a 2024 interview, Yuri Borisov, Director General of Roscosmos, revealed that Russia has nearly completed the technical capability to build infrastructure on the Moon without any human presence. While specific details remain classified, the statement marked a bold leap in automated construction within extreme environments, where pressure is zero, radiation is intense, and Earth is entirely out of reach. Can you imagine it? A massive nuclear facility, fully self-assembled in the coldest wilderness of space, without a single engineer or worker standing on the surface. Islanders, the project to turn the Moon into humanity's cosmic outpost. On May 8th, Roscosmos unveiled its ambitious plan, the International Lunar Research Station, ILRS, will go beyond a scientific lab. It's designed as a testing ground for long-term unmanned operations, laying the foundation for future human settlement on the Moon. According to the plan, ILRS will be located near the Moon's south pole, a region believed to contain rich water ice reserves, a critical resource for sustaining life and producing hydrogen-oxygen fuel for deeper space missions. As of now, 17 nations have officially joined the program. Notably, China will begin construction with its Chang'e 8 mission in 2028, setting the stage for its first crewed moon landing. Here's something to think about. Could the Moon become the first extraterrestrial territory where nations compete for influence, just as they once did over strategic maritime routes? 2030-2035, 5 super heavy-lift rockets set to reshape the Moon. According to a roadmap released in June 2021, the peak phase of the ILRS project will run from 2030 to 2035. During this period, China and Russia plan to launch at least 5 super heavy-lift rockets, potentially upgraded versions of the Long March 9 or Angara A5, to deliver the entire infrastructure to the Moon. These modules will be linked together, forming an integrated space-based network connecting lunar orbit with surface nodes at the equator and on the far side of the Moon, areas not visible from Earth. The bigger goal transform ILRS into a staging post for crewed missions to Mars before 2050. What would it mean if one day the launch pad for reaching Mars wasn't Cape Canaveral or Baikonur, but the rim of Shackleton Crater near the lunar South Pole? Lunar power, from solar panels and radioisotopes to nuclear energy. Wu Yanhua, chief architect of China's deep space exploration program, stated that ILRS will use a hybrid power system, solar panels, radioisotope, thermoelectric generators, RTGs, and small nuclear reactors. This layered strategy ensures uninterrupted power, especially during lunar nights that last up to 14 Earth days when sunlight disappears completely and temperatures drop to 274 degrees Celsius. ILRS will also deploy advanced autonomous rovers, both pressurized and unpressurized vehicles, and a new type of craft called a hopper, capable of leaping long distances between lunar sites using vertical thrust. High-speed communication, autonomous systems, and secure data networks will form the digital backbone of the entire lunar grid. Have you ever considered that we might be witnessing the blueprint of a future military-grade space base? One that doesn't require humans on site, but can be operated from Earth, or even by artificial intelligence. The 21st century space race, where America faces pressure from the East. While China and Russia are advancing with unprecedented speed and scale, NASA's Artemis program is facing mounting challenges, budget constraints, repeated delays, and an increasingly uncertain timeline for returning humans to the Moon before 2030. This stark contrast is reshaping the dynamics of the space race. The Moon, once a barren wasteland, is now a strategic arena where control isn't just scientific, but a foundation for military power and deep space resource extraction. Are the U.S. and its allies falling behind, while China and Russia quietly secure key positions? Who will be the first to plant the flag of power on the celestial body closest to Earth? The universe is infinite, and the story is far from over. Are you ready for SpaceX to break the next limit? Don't miss a single launch. If you like us, look up at the sky and wonder what's next. Then hit follow on Space now, because the next miracle might just start right here.